first chapter is more or less an introduction to the book. So that's the theme. So the breakdown of chapter 1, the first section from verse 1 to the 27th verse is just an introduction. Then within that there's subsections. Within that introduction, there's 3 subsections, which the first to the 11th verse is dealing with preparations for the war. Okay? And then the next, from 12 to 20, is dealing signs of victory for the Pandavas. So you have done quite a bit. We're on the 20th one now. And then the third section is dealing with from 21 to 27, is dealing Krishna as Bhakta Vatsala, where he is very affectionate to his devotees. So those are the subsection. And then the section 1 is the introduction. So section 2 deals with, it runs from the 28th verse to the 46th verse, to the end of the chapter, and is dealing with Arjuna's 5 reasons not to fight. Basically 4, and the 5th one is in the 2nd chapter. Making more sense, it's kind of overviewing it, right? Like the first one is compassion. From 28 to 30, it will deal only on the matters of compassion. From 31 to 35, it will deal with enjoyment. From 36 to 38, it will deal with fear of sinful reactions. From 39 to 43 is very systematic, deals with destruction of family tradition. And the 5th reason is given in the 2nd chapter, text number 6, indecision. So these are the reasons. Now I just encapsulated everything, give you an overview of what the verses are like. Does it make sense? So I think it's a better way of doing it like that. And then we move on now to the 20th verse. The 20th verse, let's see, 19, 20. 20 you're doing, yeah? So verse 1, chapter 1, text number 20, I'll read the verse itself quickly. At that time Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated on the chariot, bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra, drawn in military array, Arjuna spoke to Lord Krishna these words. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes a very beautiful purport that Hanuman is on the chariot, and Hanuman was also involved in the Ramayana, the pastimes of Lord Ram. And Prabhupada writes that purport. We'll just read it. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory, because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Ram in the battle between Ram and Ravan. And Lord Ram emerged victorious. Now both Ram and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Ram himself, and Lord Krishna is Ram himself, and wherever Lord Ram is, I'm reading it wrong, and wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the god of fortune, are present. Therefore, Arjuna had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever, and above all, the Lord of the senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle, in such auspicious conditions arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee, lay the signs of assured victory. So, there's many signs. You all did all the signs so far. What are the signs of victory you all did so thus far? You recall? What were the signs of victory? slowing of the conch shell. Yeah. So here, we find Hanuman on the chariot, and that story is in the Mahabharata. We won't discuss it here. But in essence, he's there on the chariot, and Hanuman is connected to Bhima. So he's there, and this is another sign of victory. So on 21 and 22, Arjuna said, "O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present there, here who desire to fight, and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms." So, just 1 minute. This one I get my computer something going off. Okay, it's here. So here now from 21 to 27 is another subsection which we mentioned earlier on, is dealing with Krishna having affection for his devotee. Like, if you know Krishna is the Supreme Lord, you won't instruct him to do something for you. But here we see Arjuna is requesting him to draw the chariot. And from this 21 to 23, the theme is, you'll see this common theme of Bhakta Vatsal. This next 21 to 23, and we'll just discuss it. I'll just run through it quickly. I'll make the points. The meaning of Achyuta. What's the meaning of Achyuta? Achyuta. Infallible. So who's infallible here? Krishna, right? Krishna is infallible. So the Lord never fails, Prabhupada writes in the purport, in affection for his devotees. So therefore he's engaged in the service of his friend out of his causeless mercy. And he didn't hesitate at any point to carry out the order of Arjuna. But still, he remains the supreme person, as Rishikesh, the Lord and Master of the senses. So that's the meaning of Achyuta. There's 3 points. Relationship between the Lord and his devotee is always very sweet and transcendental. A devotee is always eager to serve the Lord, and the Lord obtains pleasure in even serving his devotee, carrying out his orders. But he still remains the infallible, supreme person. That makes sense? Right? He still remains the supreme person. So why did Arjuna ask the chariot to be drawn between the two armies? There are some reasons. Because Arjuna was forced to fight against his wish. He was also anxious to see who the leading man was present there, desiring to fight. And he wanted to see how much they were bent upon fighting. So there are different reasons that he asked for his chariot to be drawn like that. And to estimate their strength also, which he had to face. Although he was confident of victory, because Krishna was on his side. So like that, from 21 to 23, that's the discussion. And then let's read 24. 23. Yeah, let me see those who come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. On 24, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. So here at 24, Krishna draws the chariot at the request of Arjuna, like it's in the midst of the both armies. And Prabhupada in the purport writes about Gudikesh. Arjuna is referred as Gudakesh. What's the meaning of Gudakesh? One who conquers sleep. Yeah. You can conquer sleep if you regulate it. Yeah. And so Arjuna had conquered sleep and ignorance. Why? Because his friend Krishna was with him. And in the purport also, he talks about the nature of the devotee. A devotee cannot forget Krishna for a moment, even while in a sleep condition. So the devotee, he conquers sleep, ignorance, and he reaches a point of samadhi, which is in the purport. Samadhi means deep, deep meditation, deep absorption, samadhi, yeah. And Krishna, again it comes up, as Rishikesh, the director of the mind and senses. So he could understand, Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of both armies and his hesitation to fight. So then let's move on to 25. Is it okay? I'm going through it I'm covering all the points there on each purport. So in 25, in the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Yeah, 25. So 25, the Lord places the chariot in front of Bhishma now, Dronacharya, etc. And the Lord as Rishikesh, what does Rishikesh mean? He knows Arjuna's mind and he knows everything, because being the super soul of all living entities, he knows everything. So Arjuna is referred here as Partha, which indicates the son of Aunt Prita. Thus Krishna wants to point out the following. These are the important points. He became the chariot because Arjuna is the son of Aunt Queen Kunti. Krishna said to Arjuna, behold the Kurus. So this phrase indicates Arjuna's mind. Do you want to stop and not fight? Krishna does not expect such cowardly action from the son of his aunt. So a mood of friendly joking expressed here. So it was a little of a lighter mood, when the chariot had come and it's in that position. Now from 26 to 27, we have You've got Bhagavad Gita, you've got it in your phones. Okay. So 26 and 27, 26 says, there Arjuna could see within the midst of the army of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. That will read 27 also. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of relatives and friends, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. So all the different types of relatives are mentioned. Grandfathers, teachers, brothers, friends. The army is containing many of his friends. So there were different, this Salva, Shakuni, Duryodhan, Bhurishrava. So the whole scene is set. The chariot is right in front of them, and now at this point, on the 27th verse, there's some emotion expressed, some emotion. And what's the emotion? compassion. So one of the reasons that Arjuna didn't want to fight is compassion. And this is on the 28th, 28th verse. 28, right up till the 30th verse. 28, 29 and 30 will deal with only with this point. Why he doesn't want to fight? Out of compassion. So you have to know the Gita like that, because otherwise you cannot dive deeply into the scriptures. You must understand these points deeply. But you may have heard it many times. But compassion, now we're dealing with 28, 29 and 30. And we'll read 28, 29 and 30, and then we'll discuss it. We'll discuss the 5 reasons. Any questions thus far? Okay. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up." 29. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, and my Gandiva bow is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. 30. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. So 28 to 30, you see the limbs are quivering, the mouth is drying up, the whole body is trembling, hair is standing on end, the Gandiva bow is slipping. I'm saying everything what's happening, right? Skin is burning, legs are unable to stand any longer due to impatience, forgetting myself and mind really, why? Due to weakness of heart, and sees only causes of misfortune. Now in this 3 verse, these are all 9 points dealing with signs of compassion. Okay, so it's dealing with this compassion. But then, all these reasons given is later defeated in the 2nd chapter and the 3rd chapter. Right until the 3rd chapter, Krishna will defeat each of these reasons that Arjuna is giving. These are 9 points from 28 to 30. Now, in 28, we see causes of compassion, different viewpoints. Just like a devotee is compassionate, they naturally have a soft heart. And Prabhupada in the purport is quoting a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5:18-12. And it's an interesting verse. It says, "One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualification that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy." So sometimes you may see people who live outside who are not devotees, their behavior is better than devotees. But they're still not better than a devotee. Get it? Because a devotee is surrendered to Krishna. These people are on the mental plane. They're hovering on the mental plane. Remember that. Then, so these soft-heartedness, Arjuna is sympathetic to both parties. But then, in the purports again, in 29 and 30, you'll find false compassion due to material fear, namely loss of life. So, he's worried that the other side people are going to be killed. Then impatience. Due to his impatience, Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield. His mind was very weak. He was forgetting, excessive attachment to material things. So we all, go through these things at some point. So therefore, these reasons you must know, because it's all applicable to us. Then in 29th verse, it's talking about trembling, two kinds of trembling, standing of hairs on the end, great spiritual ecstasy. Yeah, so like that, trembling, Gandhi Babu is slipping. So then there's cause of fearfulness. And Prabhupada quotes the verse, again from the Bhagavatam, in the 30th verse. He talks about fearlessness. Fearfulness is caused by what? When a person is too attached. When you're too attached to somebody, you're afraid he's going to die, You'll have this feeling sometimes you don't want somebody to die. But it's going to happen, So it's like that, we become afraid. Then on the 30th verse, here in the purport also Prabhupada speaks about nimitani viparitani. You saw that? To see only causes of misfortune, only pain and frustration. You expect, things to be better, but you only see all painful reverses. Frustration, no happiness, like that. Only lamentation. So like that, these verses, is it okay to explain it like that? Are you getting the gist of it, what's happening? So then, we have completed that first one on compassion, the first reason. Now we'll move on to the next reason, where Arjuna's second argument is talking about loss of enjoyment, from 31 to 35. This is going to deal with loss of enjoyment. So this argument will be refuted in the second chapter, text 31 and 32. This will be refuted. Loss of enjoyment. Because the theme here in these two verses, Arjuna is in the blind conception of life. He cannot see the right way. He's saying that the fighting will not offer him any enjoyment, even if he wins. So there and we will read 31 and 32. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. And then in 32 to 35. Listen very carefully to this. O Govinda, of what avail to us a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, then when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and prosperities and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me, or maintainer of living entities? I am not prepared to fight with them, even in the exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So he doesn't want to kill them because he won't enjoy. But Krishna will be defeating these arguments, as I said, later. So the theme of these purports in 31 and 32 to 35, in 31 is dealing on the blind conception of life. Without knowing one's self-interest. And what is our, what we're meant to do is to surrender to Vishnu. But conditioned souls are attracted to bodily relationships. And they're hoping to be happy in such conditions. Sometimes you get happy for a short while, but then after that you're sad. So how does Arjuna exhibit, how does he show this blind conception of life? How? Because he doesn't want to fight. He refuses to fight. You look at 31. Yeah. And from 32. But knowing a Kshatriya, what is the function of a Kshatriya? To fight. Is to fight. And if he refuses to fight, then he's not a Kshatriya. They cannot, like Kshatriya, the fighting class cannot engage in any other occupation. So that we have to note there on 31, 32 to 35. Arjuna misuses the name Govinda. What does Govinda mean? What does Govinda mean? Pleasure for the cows and the senses. And so Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Govinda. Have you been to Tirupati? Anybody been to Tirupati? I don't know now whether they call out the Govinda's name. They still do. But they're very popular. It's like Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Yeah. It's very popular there, Govinda. So what is the right conception of the name Govinda? What does it really mean? So because go means senses, it can mean cows, it can mean land or what. But go means senses also. So the Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve. That's what you have to have. That understanding is Govinda. And Govinda is not really meant for satisfying our senses, but the right conception is what? We meant to satisfy Govinda's senses. And when Govinda is satisfied, then we'll be satisfied. It's like, it's like when you pour water in the root of a tree, then all the branches are satisfied. So we are all parts and parcel of Krishna. And when Krishna is satisfied, then all of us are satisfied. But if Krishna is not satisfied, then we won't be satisfied. Okay? Any questions so far? So then, still on 32. Just like, sometimes we go to people's homes and they say, they so happily welcome you, but actually they're very proud of their home. They'll call you in, they'll take you there, we have one room here, one room there, this is my daughter's room, this is so-and-so's room. They're very proud of it, isn't it? You have that experience? And then they'll show you all the opulence. So, Arjuna is thinking that, if I win the battle, there'll be nobody to show the kingdom to. So what's the use? There's no enjoyment. Because people feel pleasure in showing their apartment. So we're talking here now about the planet. Get it? Like that. So yes. So that show-off tendency. He feels that Krishna should kill them, but he shouldn't be involved. It's like, sometimes like you want somebody else to do something wrong, but it's for your pleasure, but you don't want to have anything to do with it. But it's for your pleasure. It's like, yeah, Prabhupada says it like, yeah. It's like somebody want to smoke jhaka through your hands, like ganja. And, and when the police come, it's not in his hands. He's smoking it from the other person's hand. That's how it is. How's that example? That's an example. Yeah. So Arjuna didn't want to kill. And a devotee's life is transcendental. It's all on that purport. It's a lengthy purport. Devotee wants to satisfy the Lord's desire. And a devotee can accept all types of opulences just for the service of Krishna. And what is the Lord's desire here? What's his desire? He wants Arjuna to fight. That's his desire. The Lord the Lord is so determined to fight. He can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm for his devotees. So we have to be very careful that we don't harm Krishna's devotees. Because by already they were killed in one sense, but he wanted Arjuna to be the instrument. So like this, we have to give up those desires. Arjuna is being told to execute the desire of the Lord. And Arjuna, he had natural compassion for his relatives, for the family members, the community. And it's natural for devotees to have this type of qualities. So then we move on. We finished that with 35, right? So now we're moving on to, we'll have time for questions after that, or we could go on to the refuting of it. So then, from 32 to 35, we went through it. Now we move on to 36 to 38. 36, 37 and 38, these three verses, is dealing with fear of sinful reaction. I'm scared. If I fight, then I'll get sinful reactions. But if Arjuna doesn't fight, he incurs sinful reactions. Get it? Because he is not following the order of the Lord, so he gets reaction. So let's read 36, 37 and 38. I'll read the verses. Sin will overcome us as if we slay such aggressors. Therefore it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So 36, 37, I'll just read 37 quickly. 37 and 38. Oh, Janardhan, all these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends. Why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? So there, Prabhupada, in the purport, he gives 6 kinds of aggressors to be killed. It's based on the grounds of politics and sociology. It's called Artha Shastra. And if you kill them, then you don't incur any sin. Say for example, somebody is going to give you poison and you kill him. You'll get no reaction. I don't know now, but anyway. One who sets fire to the house. Also. One who attacks with deadly weapons. One who plunders riches. One who occupies another's land. And one who kidnaps a wife. So if you kill him, you won't get any reaction. That's according to Artha Shastra. But Arjuna, he favors Dharma Shastra, which is based on the grounds of religious and saintly behavior. That's based on politics and sociology. This is based on religion and saintly behavior. There's a difference. It's called Dharma Shastra. You may not see it like that when you're reading it. Because, of the unique position of these egresses as seniors and relatives, because they were seniors to you. And forgiveness on account of saintliness, because of his saintliness, forgiving them. And Arjuna was concerned why he didn't want to risk his eternal salvation just for the temporary pleasures of a kingdom. He didn't want to do that. So these are various reasons. But you'll see these reasons in 33 and 37, second chapter, where Krishna is refuting these reasons. We may come to that. So then, there's more, few little. So the correct understanding about forgiveness and saintliness. Now, saintliness is not really justified for a Kshatriya, because a Kshatriya fights. He has to engage in some killing. And Prabhupada, in a purport, you'll find that he writes about Ram Raj. Somewhere down there. Ram Raj, yeah. Because in India, I was just recently in India, I didn't go to the Ayodhya temple, but the opening of the temple of Ayodhya was just something else in India. It was just so amazing. It had such an influence on people in all corners of the world, all corners of India, everyone. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, everywhere. We jump off in the airport, Jai Shri Ram, everybody, yeah. Even the security personnel, those soldiers there, Jai Shri Ram. So we find that, Lord Ram gave lessons to Ravana, who was an aggressor, and he kidnapped Sita Devi. So because we're talking about kidnapping, right? Just like, Arjuna addresses Krishna as, "Oh Madhava." What does Madhava mean? Goddess of fortune. Krishna is the husband of the goddess of fortune. So the point is making here that Krishna should not cause an action which brings misfortune. He's the husband of the goddess of fortune. Should he not do something that will bring misfortune? So therefore Arjuna, he considered that, okay, I won't fight. So we have gone to this fearful of sinful reaction. He was scared that some sin will come. So compassion was the next one we did after compassion. We did compassion, loss of enjoyment, fear of sinful reactions. Now we're going to move on to 39, 36, 37, 38. From now we're going to move on from 39 to 43, and I'll read these three verses. Let's hear it properly. With the destruction of dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. When irreligion is prominent in the family of Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood or descendant of Vrishni comes unwanted progeny. And there's a few more, up to 43. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down, because the performances for offering them food and water entirely stopped. 42. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Krishna, 43, maintainer of people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family tradition dwell always in hell. So he's giving very good reasons on why not to fight. And this is called destruction of family tradition. You know, like death of the elderly. And if the elderly dies, then there's nobody to show the younger generation. So we will see that how in this 39th verse you'll see a sequence here now. The death of the elderly, that's one reason. Fighting then will destroy the whole dynasty. Then on 39 also, family tradition stops. And when family tradition stops, what happens? Irreligion increases. So if the family is vanquished, the dynasty is vanquished, the irreligion is increasing, then it's caused havoc. Then in text 40, it says, we read, that the woman become polluted. So if women become polluted, then it causes a problem in the family. And because there's irreligion irreligion in the family is more prominent, the family become polluted. And in the purport, Chanakya Pandit says, not me, says, women need protection. Why they need protection? Because they're less intelligent, not trustworthy, and prone to degradation. Three things. Those are the reasons. They're less intelligent, they're not trustworthy, and prone to degradation. So how are they protected? They are protected by religious principle. Either by the father, the husband, the son. It's like that, in the youth they're protected by the father, then they marry the husband, and then later the son protects them. Because if they're not protected, then that leads to degradation, adultery. And when that happens, in text 40 it says, from the degradation comes unwanted progeny. Will have bad children. You get it? And Varna Sankara, this unwanted progeny, has three effects: risk of war, pestilence, hellish life. And the whole family, then the whole thing in 141 now, in the 41st verse, talking about how ancestors fall down because the pinda down, this offering of pinda stops. We're meant to offer water, do all these traditional things for our forefathers and ancestors. Like we had a whole discussion the other day at the, I think in UK is it anyway, it was in the Howard campus. We were having a discussion on this. And the African people they were so good. They were really good. They seemed to have understood it at the Howard campus. Yeah. So, and it talks about how community project stops, all these things stop because of unwanted progeny, irreligion. It destroys that whole tradition, the family tradition. Because these things are meant, you're meant to do these things. See, like the 141, it talks about, we do take out food for the forefathers. We're meant to do these things. So it frees the soul. So if there's irreligion in the family, irreligious and if there's unwanted progeny, then they won't do these things. So those people will still be trapped. You get it? They'll be in hellish conditions. Like that. The culture is destroyed. Community, like in 42 it says, community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. So it talks about that in 43. So then, I haven't got much more to this, but then, yeah, we can just run through some points in this. Let's recap this point. 39th verse is talking about Varnashram institution, principles of religious tradition to help members of the family grow and attain spiritual value. Role of elders, importance of good population. I'm just giving some points now. What good population depends on? What? Chastity and faithfulness of womanhood. Then we spoke about Pindadan, philosophy of Pindadan, 141. We were meant to take out food for the ancestors and give water, things like that. It's all based on rules and regulation, those things. Then we spoke about community projects and welfare acts and ways of receiving knowledge. Now in the 43rd verse, this is an interesting one because Arjuna is quoting a good reason why not to fight, because he's saying, I've heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family tradition always dwell in hell. So he's giving a very sastric injunction that it's in parampara, it's coming down, this knowledge is coming down, that those who destroy this family tradition, they dwell in hell. Okay? And there in the purport, there's a talk on Prayaschita. You saw the word Prayaschita. The principle of Prayaschita. A system, where atonement for sinful activities. Where we atone, we try to neutralize those sinful activities. So we have done 4 reasons why Arjuna did not want to fight. But the 5th reason is given in the 2nd chapter, text number 6. Now we got 44, 45 and 46, 3 verses. So before we go to those 3 verses, 44, 45, 46, is any questions or comments? We're going to close this up, right? Any questions or comment? Yes.
Is offering
Pindana.
equivalent to offering food to the ancestors?
Offering, say, repeat.
Is offering annadan?
Another.
The same as offering food to the ancestors.
See, the thing is, if you offer, like if your ancestors are trapped, and you offer, like Prama Prasad, Anadan, then they can be released from it also, from that situation.
Because before prior to coming.
But you see, this Pindadan and all, the Anadan and Mahaprasad is in the higher scriptures on Bhakti. What we're talking about here is in the category of karma. It's karma kanya, fruitive. This is fruitive. When you go to funerals, you see they're putting their balls into the hands, and so that's there in the scriptures, but in the lower scriptures. It's very scientific, this whole process. How they, for they come off, because they can be like, not given a body, but by this process they can be given a body. That's why we do all these ritualistic things. It's not like a fun thing, and it's not like, and generally people don't, like maybe if you're a devotee, then you go there and say, what these people are doing, but what they're doing is okay. It's not wrong. Okay. Yeah. It's quite interesting because there, in 41, it says here, anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by the performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if you don't do anything, they'll still get the benefit, if they're connected to you. That's the beauty of it. But then it talks about, it says here, sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam, food offered to the forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. It's clear, right? Very clear, yeah. But one who is in devotional service, you don't have to do it. We cannot tell him that's wrong. Yeah, it's not wrong. Okay.
Because they are in scriptures as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all in the scriptures. So let's do the last few verses. So we have to do 44 to 46, right? So I'll just read the verses first. Alas, how strange is that we are preparing to commit great sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. 46. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on his chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So there's not many purports to that, to these verses, 43, 44, 45 and 46. But like a Kshatriya, doesn't attack somebody else who is not armed. That's one of the codes of fighting. But Arjuna is saying, better for me if the son of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Yeah. So, see, because Kshatriyas, they don't beg for sustenance. They're not meant to do that. They don't do that. Then on the 46th verse, because Arjuna, anybody who said him to cast aside his bow, he could kill that person. And that was, it's there in the Mahabharata, when Karna was he severely injured Yudhisthira, because Yudhisthira was more a Brahman, like a Brahman type, you know. And you know, like if somebody is weaker, then a person who can fight will like belittle the other person. You know, maybe you did that in your young age. So Karna taunted Yudhishthira, saying, "You are not even a Kshatriya. You should learn how to fight." And he's mocking, "I see how I defeated you. So I'm not even going to bother to kill you." So when Arjuna heard that Yudhishthira was injured, Arjuna immediately left the battlefield and he went to Yudhishthira's tent. So Yudhishthira, he concluded that Arjuna had come, then Karna must be defeated. Otherwise he wouldn't have been here. So he said, he had come to inform him that Karna is defeated. That's how Yudhishthira took it. But it wasn't true. Arjuna had left the battlefield only to come and see the elder brother, even though he was injured. Because when Yudhishthira saw Arjuna, he said, "Have you killed Karna? Have you, killed him?" Because he wanted to, take revenge kind of thing. "No, I didn't." And Arjuna responded, "No, I didn't kill him. I just came to see how badly you were hurt." So Yudhishthira, he became furious. Became very, very furious. "So you left the battlefield without killing Karna, you're a coward. How could you have done this?" And then Yudhishthira told me, "It's better that you give up your Gandiva bow." So here it says that, in the 46th verse, Arjuna, having spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief, because he had a vow that he will never leave his bow. So then he was, upon hearing that verse, Arjuna became Yudhishthira, Arjuna became very enraged. And Yudhishthira, and he was thinking, how could Yudhishthira come to such a conclusion that I give up my bow? So, so Kshatriyas, they meant to kill, and Arjuna drew off his sword to kill his brother. That's Yudhishthira. And Krishna was watching, the whole thing. But he immediately caught Arjuna's hand and said, "All right, you have to kill Yudhishthira. The way you kill him is you must start insulting him, because that's also death." See, when somebody insults you, it's very painful, isn't it? It's worse than death. Somebody will kill you, maybe that's over, but if somebody insults you. So then he started insulting Yudhishthira, that, you're not a Kshatriya, you let Draupadi get disrobed, you're not a worthy person, you're not like that. And then when he heard all this, so in that way he killed Yudhishthira. The interesting way, through insult. And then he begged for forgiveness, and therefore this comment, Arjuna had not lightly made this give up his Gandiva bow. So now he had set aside his bow and is in grief. So he's not in a good condition. So this is where the first chapter ends. Is it okay, lad? So we'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Anybody want to add anything?
It's so interesting that all these arguments are actually in society this is considered goodness. This is supposed to be, how this is the highest level of morality that people sort of expect. And then in the beginning of the next chapter, Krishna just decimates all of these arguments.
Yeah, all these arguments are defeated. So therefore you have to know the arguments and how Krishna defeats it. Then you apply it to your own life, because you're also we all think on the same line. Compassion, reactions. We're thinking of the same thing, but how we see it differently when Krishna defeats those arguments, then we apply those things in our life. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu, I want to know, why is it said that women are not to be trusted?
Woman?
Yeah. Why?
You tell me.
No, I can tell you many things, but why is it that women cannot be trusted? It's like Ravana and Sita Mata.
No, we don't compare them.
Not those ones. They're talking about us, people in Durga Dham, this world.
They're not women, they're speaking about us.
Us.
Yeah.
Like normal.
Yeah, like us, normal. You're all normal people, yeah.
There's lots of good people, but why they're not trusted?
You see, it's based on the level of enjoyment. Never trust a it said never trust a politician. That's like Chanakya Pandit and a woman.
But I don't think that should be the text, Robert.
Yeah.
Should generalize everyone.
That's why we're telling. I didn't say Chanakya Pandit. Chanakya Pandit was a Brahmin in the ruling times of King Chandragupta.
Yeah, the Maurya dynasty.
King Chandragupta. Now, if you find him, he's a Brahmin, he's a very intelligent, he was an advisor to the king.
Brilliant.
Brilliant, he was super brilliant. I was giving a class the other day, and we were talking about state property. Because I worked in the government service, so I was very concerned about state property. I should not use state property. Like I was giving the example that when I wanted to, when I needed a pen, I'll make sure my pen that was issued to me is finished, and I could give it to the people who supply pens, the stock office. I give them the pen that's finished, and then they must give me a pen. So I had to follow that principle. And Chanakya Pandit, he will be speaking, sometimes he is giving advice. And one day he was talking to somebody on politics, it was dealing with politics, the country. So the lamp was burning. He had two lamps. So he was talking about the state affairs and things like that. And then all of a sudden the discussion turned into something else. He said, just hang on, he put this lamp off. He lit the other lamp. So the person was like confused, but they say, no, you're talking, but why put this? He said, this lamp, we're doing state affairs. Now we're talking general mundane matters. It's got nothing to do with the state. So I have to use my own oil. That's Chanakya Pandit. Get it? So they're very intelligent people. So they concluded, he's not talking about you, you're the devotee. He's talking about all those other people now outside there, not you.
But then how do you find out there will be a group of people, right? A group of females or males, whatever.
Yeah.
How will you distinguish between them? This is the devotee, this is the naughty girl?
You don't know, man. All good girls go to heaven, bad girls go everywhere. It's true, right? That's the way to look at it. Yeah. But chastity is an important quality. I remember my own sisters, one is late, one is left, but my sister was very chaste. Absolutely chaste. They were just completely chaste. They didn't choose, they were married, they were given in charity. And that's a very important quality. You see, a lady is known by her chastity. If she's chaste, she can make the sun not rise. And that's how it is. Because a woman is very powerful. Their chastity is important. If they just be chaste in the home, the whole home changes. It has such a good effect. Isn't it? They're very powerful. You know? And you can become very peaceful if your wife is very saintly, then the man is very peaceful also. So chastity, shyness are the quality of a woman. Not saying, like saying, they want to be known for everything that they do, and because in the, even like 50 years ago, even in Indian homes, it was like joint family system. And the lady would not come in the front of the room. She'll always be in the back, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that not true?
Yes.
But that was a very good quality. Nowadays, they'll be sitting in the front, isn't it? The man will be sitting in the back. So, but that's not what we want. They have to be like pure and good and clean and chaste. This have a very good effect on the consciousness of the children. The whole environment is very nice. Therefore, now it's like we're losing that. But if we maintain that, we're so nice. Then we can trust you. Yeah, and the people would travel. I don't know if it's Prabhupada's wife or even maybe their mother or whoever, I can't remember. They carried on palanquins with their, their veiled, it's like that.
But even now, probably we get many people still like that. We have many homes.
Yeah, therefore you have to have your hair covered. It's very important to have your hair covered. It's important to have it like that. It looks much nicer, and those are things that we're meant to do as females. Yeah. So so Chanakya Pandit, Chanakya Pandit.
Like how that Mataji asked that question, there will be many more talks where somebody people mentioning Janakya Pandit, and those questions will arise.
Yeah. Yeah. See, the nature of a female her nature is to enjoy more. But a man is not, his nature is to enjoy more. He's more rational. But a woman, we can enjoy more. The level of enjoyment is, even like you go shopping, just for argument's sake. Just you go shopping. I mean, a man won't be able to go through the whole, go to 50 shops, take everything out, look at it, put it back, and buy nothing. Isn't it?
Natural born talent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So we have to be careful. See, they can be easily influenced also, females can be easily influenced. So in that sense, there's so many things we can tell you about that, but you'll all get upset here. We're just talking about these things. So, anybody else would like to say anything? Timing was okay to finish, isn't it?
Prabhu, could you tell us a little bit about your trip to India and your experiences with your Guru Maharaj? A few minutes.
Oh. Yeah, well, I traveled to lots of places, Mayapur, Pune, Mumbai. Stayed a lot in Mumbai also. Gave some classes at Mumbai temple. It was good. Met a lot of people, though, yeah. The travels are good. Like in the Chowpatty, in Pune temple, it's a very beautiful temple, extremely beautiful. A few hundred brahmacharis. Just all celibate monks. They're living in this temple. And they're expanding it like anything. It's so nice to see. But Giriraj Maharaj was addressed them separately about brahmachari life and encouraged them very much. And Giriraj Maharaj got a lot of knowledge about Prabhupada. So he'd always tell something new that you never heard before. What Prabhupada said in a particular situation. So they would ask him a lot of questions. They'd spend time with him. And one of the things maybe not in that talk, but in another talk, I was talking about like how sometimes we lose our enthusiasm in spiritual life. This is like, sometimes we feel lethargic. And earlier in Mumbai, when Prabhupada went there to India, back to India, and the devotees were staying in the hotel, like I think it was Sea Palace, Sea Face Park or something like that. They were staying, and they found that the enthusiasm were waning, it was like dropping. So Giriraj Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj were discussing, what should we do? We have to we can't let our devotees slip. Krishna consciousness. So there was a spare room, and then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, just get few ladies to come and stay there. So the few ladies came, and then all these men got up early in the morning, they're running with the mridanga up and down, chanting, dancing.
Sorry, on that point, don't you think the men too, they have to be controlled by?
That's true. They were controlling their mind. Now they're running up and down, singing and dancing, like kirtan. They got enthusiastic, they wanted to impress the ladies. So yeah, it's real fun. Yeah, but it's fun, But yeah, you're making the point that now this is a good side we're talking about ladies, how they can encourage other men now. So that's also there.
Isn't it the fact that the soul has no gender? The soul has no gender. Because it's placed in a particular body, it acts in that fashion.
Yeah, that's true. But generally it's, you have Purush and Prakriti. So in one sense, we are all female. Get it? Prakriti is female, Purush is male. Krishna is Purush, and everybody is female. So in that sense, the soul is female. Isn't it? It's an interesting way of looking at it.
Don't people say, this person in his past life could have been a woman?
That's true. So the thing is, we also have our eternal spiritual form. So we may be a coward girl, I may have a female body, but I'm in this male body now. But my actual position is I may be a coward girl. I'm not saying I'm that, but I'm just using that as an example. So maybe in the spiritual, I'm a coward girl, and you may be a coward boy. So in that sense, but still, Krishna is speaking about Purusha Prakriti, that he is the supreme Purush, he is the male, supreme male, and all others are female, Prakriti. So therefore, There was I'm just trying to pick it up now. Let me just give me a minute. Where Rupa Goswami, and I think it was Mirabai. This is one of the transcripts. I may not pick it up now. Yeah, it talks about male and female. Yeah. No, I might not be able to pick it up now because. Mirabai was a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna. There was those who are under the domination of the husband being married, they are happy. And those who are under the domination of elder children, they are happy. So this is the statement of Manu Samhita. Just like children should not be given freedom, similarly women should not be given freedom. They should be given all protection. That is our Vedic culture. Similarly, Prakriti, just this is an example. Yeah, either man or woman, everyone is Prakriti. Everyone is Amen. The real Purush is Krishna. And there is a nice example. When Rupa Goswami was there in Vrindavan, in his bhajan, Mirabai went to see him. Mirabai is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. And Rupa Goswami's message was that he does not see any women. They were very strict, at least the story is like that. So Mirabai challenged, the lady challenged, that I came to Vrindavan, I know that only Krishna is Purush here. Yeah, Krishna is only male, and everyone is woman. So how does it mean that Rupa Goswami declined to see another woman? So Rupa Goswami agreed, yes, I am mistaken. Yes, Krishna is the only Purush. So Purush means the enjoyer, and Prakriti means instrument of enjoyment. Prakriti, energy. Just like here we see one man is very big, rich man, but he's enjoyer by utilizing his energy. Similarly, the whole cosmic manifestation, whole creation is the supreme enjoyer is God. Make sense? How that sounds now? That make you happy? Oh, all right.
I think we should all pray for Rose Mataji to meet that Pandit. Then you can ask him that question.
Okay. But if you become a devotee, you start chanting Hare Krishna every day. You have to surrender. Then you won't feel that, like woman is less intelligent and things like that. Nowadays, women in the modern world, lots of people are more intelligent than me. In the material world, much more educated. When every time I come to the university, I have to tell them I didn't study. Because everybody introducing themselves as students, I am so and so, I am studying such and such degree. Yeah, some good sessions here in Westfield campus also. So that makes sense? Is that okay? Okay, I think we'll stop here now. I think I have one more question.
How come in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, O son of Kunti? Why does he specifically say Kunti's name?
Answer?
There must be some glorification about it.
That's the connection between Krishna and Arjuna.
Ah.
That's his cousin. That's his cousin, his friend, his devotee.
Yeah.
That's why he's giving the instruction.
Hmm. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Anybody else want to make any comments before we close? I think we took a long time. So we finished the first chapter, then you can get to the next chapter and see all how you defeat the arguments. It's nice to do it like this, huh? You go through it like that, and then you overview this whole thing, and then then go back to it. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.